Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me again today for another card making tutorial. And today we've got a colour challenge going on, but this supports the colour combo blog hop. So all the details for that blog hop are going to be in the description below. So there's loads of people participating. So it'd be really good if you could pop along to that link and then hop along and see what everybody else has made too. So the combo we've got is Magenta Madness, Flirty Flamingo and Shaded Spruce. That's what we've been set. Now I think this is quite challenging because we've got a warm pink and a cool pink, and then we've got this really quite dark green thrown in as well. And whenever there's a green in there, the temptation is to just go with flowers, and I wanted to do something a little different. So, having had a rummage through my stash and see what I could use, I've actually decided to use the Whale Done stamp set and the coordinating punch there. Okay, so this is available right now. Okay, and the result was this card. So I think that turned out okay considering the colour combination, really. So I'm gonna show you how I did it. So there's a bit of a technique on the background there, but yeah, so we're just going to recreate this card for you today with those colours. So done a bit of prep with the Magenta Madness, just so that we've got a card base here. So that's just Magenta Madness cardstock that I've cut lengthways in half and then scored in half. So that would be, I work in Imperial, so that would be 4 1/8 of an inch lengthways and scored at 5 7/8 of an inch. That's what gives card base for me in from A4 cardstock. Okay, and then I've got a layer here. So this white layer is an inch shorter and narrower. So this is 3 inches by 4 3/4, and then my Magenta Madness is 3 1/8 by 4 7/8 of an inch. So we'll put those together in a minute when we've done all our stamping. Just going to bring in some grid paper, and the first thing we're going to do is make the background. So I'm going to do that using blending brushes and some offcuts of grid paper that I've just torn along here to create kind of a funky little mask. I'm going to work sideways just so it's easier for me to hold on to the mask and the paper at the same time. So this is where I'm using the Flirty Flamingo ink. Okay, picking up that brush there, and I just want to go lightly working across here. There's a bit of a lumpy bit there, so I'm going to move that along, and just sort of rubbing over the edge of that sort of paper mask to give me a line like this, which looks a bit weird right now, but hopefully it'll all come together in the end. So I didn't re-ink that, but it's possibly a little light. So just again, just a light re-ink, but just going over the edge of those of the mask, not going all the way up to the top. Okay, and then you get these lines appearing in the background. Okay, and the thought process there was that when you see these wonderful underwater shots, you get the light coming through from the surface, and it can make the water look all shimmery and shiny and different colours, and it kind of creates like these stripes and things. So I just hold on to your base cardstock firmly so you don't end up rubbing it off like I've just done. So I just thought it would just give this sort of illusion of light coming through from the surface, basically. and you can put in as many or little of those little sort of layers as you want to, but I thought it was a really nice pretty background to add in. And then I decided to do sort of the reverse with the shaded spruce as well. So if you use the blending brush with this shaded spruce, you get quite a nice muted colour. So I'm going to switch the mask over, simply because if you use the same one, you can pick up the colour. And the first time I did it, I ended up with like this sort of muddy kind of colour in the middle. So I'm barely touching the pink there, because like I say, it's just going to red and green sort of make like this browny colour. So I'm just sort of getting as close as I dare with that. Just to connect the two really. And then once we've got all the other bits and pieces on, you're not going to sort of notice that anyway. So it's just something to consider when you're actually putting the card together really. So, and again, we're over stamping this bit, so again, it just adds something subtle to the background. That you may not notice to start off with, but it just adds a little bit of something. So there we go. That's that. Okay, so that's just given us this lovely soft sort of background, taken the white off, so that we can then build up our stamped image. So now I'm going to take the sort of seaweed here. We're going to use first and second generation ink, and we're going to fill in the bottom down here. Just be mindful that when you stamp off, sometimes you'll get like a little funky stripe if you're not careful, so just bear that in mind when you're doing this. See, if I go higher, you end up with this sort of stripe here, so just be mindful that when you're repositioning your stamp, you're not catching that there at all. I'm just going to put a little bit more over here just to sort of frame that edge, so they're all pointing in the same direction, you see. So sometimes it can look a bit weird if you've got everything lining up in the same way. And then there's this little teeny tiny weed that you can add in as well, just to add some different shapes here and there, and then that will help fill in the gaps down here as well. And if you sort of connect it up, you can kind of make it look like it's coming from the same plant, for want of a better word. So that's probably as much as I need on there, isn't it really? There we go. I think that will do for that. While I've got the this green ink out, I'm going to stamp my whale. So this isn't probably the colour of choice for the whale, to be honest with you, but obviously we're working within the remits of this challenge, so, but it didn't work out too bad, I thought. Okay, doesn't he stamp lovely? And obviously he's got that that sort of distinctive look to him, so he's got a bit of shading. Don't need the green again. I am going to add some wink of Stella to him, I think. I can see it. Just to give him a bit of a shimmer. Sort of just across the top there. Love that he's got his little blowhole is there as well. So just go over that gently. The wink will bleed out your your ink. So I'm not going over his belly because he's going to end up with a green belly otherwise. Just a little bit on the edge there where it's not going to make too much of a difference. Okay, so there's my little whale. Okay, so he's ready to go. Alright, so I'm going to punch that out in a sec when I've got the, in fact, can I do that now? Oh no, I'm going to finish the background first. Just wanted to use that while I've got the green ink out. So now we want to add our little fishes to this. And we're going to do that with the Magenta Madness, okay? In fact, I'm not using Flirty again, actually. Yeah. Right, little fishes. So I stamped them that way. They can go either way. Oh, I've just spotted that. I've picked up the stamp and thought, oh, I'll do them like that. And I'm like, I'm sure they were facing the other way on the card, and they are, which means we can have multi-directional fishes, which has made me very happy. Literally just picked up that stamp and gone, oh, that's the other way. So we're going to do first, second, third generation stamping there. And it really gives those little fishes just some depth, really. So let's have some going the other way. Now that I've discovered I can do that. I don't know why I didn't know that before, but I do now. Let's put them over there. So that's real fun, isn't it? Okay. Then I think we're going to have another sort of few coming in from there. And I'm going to turn it round and use that third generation to have those coming in. So they're really, really cute, aren't they? Really, really sweet. And I'm going to have some hiding in these weeds as well, I think. Really, really cute. Really cute. So that will do for those. And again, while the magenta ink is out, I'm going to use the other part of this, what's that called? Scrap piece of paper, to stamp my sentiment, like so. And I hope that that's given it enough room for me to do my double punching. I hope so. Okay. Okay, so the punch then, I've got the Label Me Fancy. I think I'm going to do that first because the whale punch has got all the extra bits and pieces onto it. There's like a water sort of spray thing. That may interfere with that, with me punching out that sentiment. So there's my sentiment. You see we've got all these other little bits, you see. So if I'd have done that first, I would have gone into the area where I wanted the that tag to lie a little bit. Only a little bit, but I didn't want to take the risk, so I did that first. Okay, so just line that up in your punch and just press that through firmly, and that will come out no problem. Just take away all these little extra bits that I'm not using. Oh, I tell you, green ink. It's always green ink that gets on my hands, I'm telling you. Okay, so the sentiment and the whale can have dimensionals behind them. Oops. Putting those off to the one side because it's going to overhang on the layer. And let's bring in our bits and pieces now. So this can all be secured together now with some Stampin' Seal. Let's get that lined up. And this is just going to go on flat. So we've got the dimension from our whale. That layer's crept a bit close to the score line, but you'll have more time to make sure yours is lined up properly. There we are. Just reinforce the with tent fold card. You want to make sure that crease at that top is really nice and stiff, and then it will. This is a slippery surface actually, but stain up. And then all we need to do is add these little bits on. So I hope you've liked this idea. As I say, trying my best not to use flowers. Don't want to cover too many of my fishes. So let's put that there. And I think that's turned out really, really well. I like the fact he's diving down. His fluke just on the end there. Oh, that's a bit far over, but yeah. I was concentrating on the other bits and pieces, you know. So there we go. Replicated that. I think I've gone a bit softer on the background there, and I think that works quite nicely. Just brings out those fishes a bit. And don't forget, your fish can swim in both directions. Well, that's really, really ace. Hope you've enjoyed that, everybody. Please do click on the link in the description bar to the blog post and have a look at what everybody else has made. The products that I've used are also linked in there, so they can go straight into your online shopping basket if you wish to purchase anything. Thank you so much for joining me today. Stay safe, take care, bye.